Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Winner's Circle. This is Russ Fordyce, and I am here today with Samantha Clarke from VDURA. She leads partnerships at VDURA, and she is one of our 2025 Herizon Award winners. And those are women who are transforming business, and you have a lot to transform, don't you, Samantha? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Russ. Yeah, great
So,
kickoff.
so VDURA and yourself, give us, kind of the elevator pitch. I know what VDURA does because I've been in AI and cloud for a while. So you can tell us a little bit about that. HPC may be a new term for people, but tell us what you're doing there and give us an overview of what partnerships you're doing these days.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you for the award. I'm very honored, and I take it upon myself to stand up for women in industry as often as I can. So thank you for the recognition, and a shout out to all the women that have helped me get here and mentors. So VDURA, super excited to be here. I've been in the industry a long time in both the hardware side and the software side, and both HPC and general storage. And I really feel like HPC and AI kind of come together now, but really are transforming our world. I think I used ChatGPT to prepare for today, so perfect example.
So did
Uh,
I.
yeah, it's amazing the output acceleration it can give, and I think that's really what our world, the HPC world and the AI world, is about. It's about accelerating results. Things like healthcare, drug trials that used to take years now can be compacted down and really help the world, and things like weather analysis and just use cases, autonomous driving. I just went to visit a customer yesterday who's hopefully going to be making autonomous electric air transport real in the next 2 to 5 years. So there you go.
We're
It's
ready,
kind of
right?
yeah, we're ready. We're ready. We're just talking about Bay Area traffic, right? It's one way to get around it. So VDURA is a very interesting product. I sat on, or I led the software partnerships for Seagate in my previous role, and I got to see all the different solutions. And the industry is really looking for a solution that can go extremely fast, serve the demands of these uh, amazing products, amazing solutions that our customers are building, but also be easy to use and scalable and affordable. So it really ticks all those boxes very uniquely. And so I'm excited about the product. I'm an engineer at heart, so I love the technology. And the partnership piece, well, I used to say storage is like the tires on the car, but I got told the other day that now AI is making data like the engine of the car. So we're getting more important, apparently, but we are still just a part of the car. So partnerships is incredibly important, not just for our growth, but for our customers to be able to adopt us in a way that's easy and helps them meet their needs immediately.
Yeah, I want to step back a sec because you said something important, which is you've got an engineering background.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was doing my research on you. You do have it's an amazing career trajectory you have of going from kind of engineering into kind of the technical depths of all of that stuff, and then coming back into the commercial sector and having success, and now with partnerships. Um, what do you think in that kind of in that experience that you had, kind of evolving, kind of led you into the partnership channel, and kind of what impact did that have on you?
Oh gosh, so many answers, but I think I kind of view sales and partnerships kind of like engineering. It's problem solving, and bringing the problem solving mindset and the engineering background together into this world has really served me well. I'm very grateful for. I think particularly my very first job. I was actually having a discussion with one of my mentees today about the perfect starting role, and I really got to be kind of a project engineer when we were designing ovens. It was amazing. So we were designing ovens in New Zealand with electronics in them, and I got to take it from kind of design to certifications to field training to team launches and all those great things. And my manager was just someone who said, "Hey, go figure this out," and I got to figure everything hang out and be part of an amazing team. So, as I talk to my mentees and as they're making their job choices, either coming out of college or into their first roles, I always recommend something that gives you kind of a wide view of things things you can touch or be responsible for.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I had kind of that at a startup, and at startups, you kind of do everything, and at least in your department, you're exposed to so much more than your role,
Yeah.
and that broad base of experience gives you a lot of insight into kind of what might be good for your next step.
It's so true, and I kinda joke. I tell people that I talk too much to be in engineering, which is kinda true. I had went to this amazing, woman engineering hosted by EMC back when it was EMC, and they went through the whole extrovert, introvert, and it made me realize that not everyone is as, willing to talk every moment of the day like I am. So, I think I, am in my place, I'm happy, but also it helped me understand how to work better with, my engineering peers. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's been very interesting watching the industry evolve, kind of the enterprise industry evolve kind of into those, it was really focused on consultancies before, wasn't it? Big consultancies coming in and telling us what we needed to do and what services we needed to buy. I dealt with so many of them over my career. And now it's really interesting because you really do have these technology partners who are a lot more nimble, a lot more knowledgeable, that can really come in and impact an organization, seems like a lot faster than kind of those. And I'm not saying the consulting agreements aren't good, but for what a lot of people need to do these days, especially to get off the ground with AI, it seems like nimble and speed is a good thing to have.
Very much so. I think, NVIDIA has set a gold standard for how they approach giving people solutions. So they really took a verticalized approach, and we're doing the same. Our verticals are very much those that have high data content and need performance. So people that are designing airplanes, people that are designing automated helicopters, people that are solving, the biggest challenges in healthcare. And so proving out and learning from kind of the leading customers in those spaces and putting together a solution with our partners that they can take almost off the shelf, and solve their problems. I think that is more powerful in a lot of times than kind of a consultant coming in and assessing and then recommending from afar, if you like.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so your career is so you engineer and then into the commercial space and partnerships, and then this AI boom happens, right? Right after the cloud boom and storage boom, which was a good thing, right? What led you to VDURA?
So two things, really the technology. I've been lucky enough to have some amazing mentors and sponsors in my past, and I had a leader that recognised that I have an ability to pull together different technologies and different ideas and build something. So in Seagate, I built our edge business. So after the cloud boom, we were
Mm.
figuring out what was next, and we said, there's lots of things happening at the edge, which has really, evolved into the AI boom because it's taking the data, it's analyzing it fast, and it's making solutions at it, and then adding AI, of course. Um, but as I was looking at that, the technology piece, having an AI solution that could be easily adopted by the verticals that really need it at the edge was important to me, and I was very excited when this role at Fedora came up. But also working with folks that I've worked with over the years and have so much respect for. So our CEO, my leader, our CRO, just great humans, really trying to do the best, but also best for the company. So people and technology.
Yeah. Well, so I have a kind of personal question. I guess I think more people would be interested than just me, but you've been in this business, you're seeing this boom happening. And now you're on the backside of this, so you get to see, the nitty gritty of what's going on. What do these workloads look like? These new AI workloads going, kind of flipping that trigger from on to off. What is that doing to the payloads and the workloads going into kind of the factory?
Yeah, I think It is all about the data. So for us, we just think about how fast we can move data into GPUs. So feed the beast, as we say. But a lot of it means moving the infrastructure to where the data is. So there's a lot more. There's a lot being done in the cloud, and the cloud is amazing for its ability to flex, its ability to get access to all those different applications in one place. Um, but it's also important to be near to the data source and be able to analyze that as fast as possible. So I think, yeah, on the backside, as you say, our mission in life is to feed the GPU,
Feed the beast. I love it.
feed the beast.
That'll be the episode name. We'll title it that. Feed the beast.
Okay.
So you guys seem to be focusing in on the edge and bringing that capacity and the compute and the storage, that service right to the edge. What does that mean in terms of management architectures at VDURA? How are you managing all of that instead of kind of in that kind of big cloud world?
Yeah, I think we are absolutely complementary to the cloud, and in some ways look like a cloud on-prem. So really, the folks we serve best are those that have petabyte scale to exabyte scale of data, and they want it to look like a cloud. To be honest, they want it to be scalable, they want it to be reliable, and they want it to be fast. So that's really what it looks like. And I think as we evolve, we will be deploying in the cloud as well, so that people can have the same workload experience on-prem and in the cloud. Other things people are looking for is to be able to work in multiple sites. So having the ability to manage data in multiple sites and be able to replicate, etc. So yeah, really, really focused on ease of use and looking like the cloud in a lot of ways. They've set a gold standard.
And there's a lot of benefits for doing it. There's mainly security and I guess performance, right?
Yeah, security to some respects, definitely performance. So yeah, so that you can, you know, as people say, the speed of light is a challenge. We can't really beat it yet. So, being able to be near close or near proximity to your GPUs, to your CPUs, is very, very important. And we can do a lot over the network, but when you're trying to get the maximum number of tokens or the maximum efficiency and results from your CFD or design computation or simulations, then you really just every second counts. So being close, or every millisecond actually counts. So being there is very important.
Yeah, I was in fiber optics for many years, and people really don't get that. We know it's a wire, but it's light outside of your house. If you drive down the street, it converts.
Yeah,
So that is the limitation. If we
it
can
is.
make that go faster somehow, I've been working on that.
Oh,
Uh,
great,
it's, it's
perfect.
a
Let us
it's
know.
a startup. It's just an idea I had. Uh,
I'm all in.
so I think I could get some funding for it. Um, we have a plan to make the speed of light faster.
I think you'll
So
get
you're
some.
you're 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 now undergoing the kind of this, or you're you're at the end of it. Sounds like this major transformation at VDURA with partnerships, kind of transforming their model. Tell us a little bit about that journey and kind of what you've done.
Yeah, so when I joined the company, we were kind of standalone. We are pretty tactical, serving customers' needs directly and as a piece part. So as we looked at the market, we looked at the key components around us, and networking is definitely one of them. Compute partners and application partners. So we've built really strong partnerships with the likes of AMD, Dell, Supermicro. Networking folks like Cornelis. NVIDIA has also a networking company, um, and really focused on solutions with them. So allowing, I think, the key thing customers are looking for, much like the cloud, is to be up and running as soon as possible. If they've purchased something and want to be using it the next day, and with hardware on-prem, it's not quite the next day, but as soon as possible. So that's our commitment, to qualify with our partners and then be able to stand up and get our customers' time to work minimized.
Yeah, I've been through one of those transformations where it was very explicit. Like we
Mm,
needed to we needed to change from transactional to, kind of long-term value selling. And the
Mm.
product was there, it just wasn't, the mentality wasn't there, and it got changed, which was great. There's a sales process. It was a process though. There's training and process and tools and everything. What was your experience of VDURA, kind of leading the team through that as you kind of move from transactional into that kind of, solution sales?
Yeah, I think key component to that is our channel and integration partners. So we have some really strong partners. My favorite lesson in partnering life was coalitions of the willing. So
Yeah.
we really went out to all our partners that have worked with us technically in the past and said, "Hey, do you want a more strategic relationship? Do you want to work together and we'll do training, we'll invest in you, we'll do marketing together, we'll like customer case studies, all those good things." And we chose a handful that we really wanted to invest in. I think I'm a big fan of focus. As another lesson I learned from a dear leader was, if you're partnering with everyone, you're not really partnering with anyone. And that stayed with me a long time and is so true. So we really invested in key partners and built tools to make it easy for them to deliver and talk to their customers about our solution, which is so important and so easy, so important for them to be able to do it independently rather than come back and forth with us. And we've really worked hard on that.
Is it changing with the AI service model? Is it changing? Like, is that partnership model changing at all?
Uh, I I think in some ways the tools, so everyone expects everything to be easier and open. It's easier for us to create content with AI. It's incredible, ChatGPT, but also other tools. But I think really the basics aren't changing. Listening to what your customers need, listening to what your partners need to serve your customers, those don't change. So it's really about the engagement and the showing our value, showing how we can really help our partners win business, showing our customers or sharing our customers wins with our customer wins with our partners, so they understand how they can win with us, and building those trusted relationships. I think we are part of the sale, but everything has to come together, and it has to be built on trust and the ability to work together to win.
Yeah. It's interesting that the transition you've kind of made there reminds me of the same one I was talking about, where one of the things we learned, we went through a Six Sigma process as well, and one of the
Mm,
things we learned was that sometimes you meet resistance with change, um,
mhm.
and sometimes even internally we used to call them covert terrorists. Right? And they're the people that kind of blow up your plan at the last minute right before you launch it. What sort of resistance have you run into in your career? You don't have to name names or anything, but and how did you overcome it? Because it's always there.
Yeah, I think the biggest was we were very much an individual sales led company when I joined, and our partners were more, openly pushing paper for us, and really convincing our sales leaders and our sales teams that there was value in the partnerships that we were building was the biggest challenge, and that was really through hard work. That was um, through working with the partners and bringing opportunity to the sales reps that otherwise they wouldn't have had a chance with. I think the big consultancy company, as you say, are still doing the big things, but the um, the resellers and the channel partners that we work with, they all have their own trusted relationships with the customers, and they are the only ones that can really um, lead a customer to a new technology if they've got that trusted relationship. So showing our sales teams that they could trust the partners and they could work with the partners and that they could grow their territory, their revenue with the partners was my biggest hurdle to get over.
Yeah, it's that kind of co-creation model, isn't it? Where we can't we spent a lifetime, or at least I would worked for a few companies that spent a lifetime trying to be everything, and you can't do everything well. Nobody does that really well. And so you really do need to partner and kind of co-create a solution for a customer. Most of the time when they're bringing somebody in, you're not the only piece. And
Exactly.
so it's an interesting, this co-creation model has really accelerated, it seems like, with digital transformations in general, and now the AI adoption. It's just, there's too much.
Yeah, and, you have to move fast. You don't I think the best thing is that people have realized you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Someone's most likely got a solution. I mean, you're solving, the speed of light, so we're all gonna be counting on you soon.
That's right.
But it's much easier to work with someone who's already done the hard work than trying to solve everything yourself. So, we've definitely taken that approach. Our file system is incredibly well architected for future. Our founder, I have so much respect for him. I tell him he's the Taylor Swift of storage. He told me he doesn't really like sequence, but that's all right.
I'm sure he'll
But
take the $1 billion, year
exactly.
salary too.
Exactly. Yeah, but we're so strong at, our tagline is, the strongest storage, but we're such a strong file system, but we are a file system and we need other parts to help us work in a whole solution. And just being able to go to our partners and really understand their strengths and our strengths and then marry them together is kind of my favorite part of my job is getting to figure out who we fit well with, building that jigsaw.
Yeah, and it is a jigsaw. Everybody's got their
Mm.
role. You gotta find the right pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. So if you look forward, like, 5 years, you're kind of we're I don't we're in this hype cycle of AI. We don't know where we are, right? We think we're at the top, maybe. There could be 10 more years ahead of us, right? If you listen to Ray Kurzweil and others. Um, so the question is, what does this model look like in 4 or 5 years?
Oh gosh, great question. I think the basics always stand still. I think, the big thing that's coming, is communicated by everyone is that AI will help us accelerate, will do incredible things, but the people part and the empathy and the relationships are the piece that um, will still be very human. So I think the basics will stay there. We may be able to do things faster and, AI may work out the jigsaw for us and we'll have to pull everything together, but I think the basics will still be there, and I think it's incredibly exciting about where we can go. Also incredibly terrifying, but incredibly exciting.
It is anxiety producing, all the uncertainty about where we're headed. But yeah, I think you're right. I've talked with a lot of people who kind of say a similar thing, which is, the human still matters, that we're doing it for humans, right? So the human still matters in this equation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there will be, this kind of flight to quality and flight to humanity as AI,
Mm.
everything becomes more prolific, as it'll become commoditized to some extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you could kind of give, y- you know, customers out there, enterprise customers who are, kind of looking to get into kind of this market, into HPC and cloud and kind of the AI world, from your perspective, and you see a lot of this kind of solution building, what would you recommend that they kind of take a step back, think about strategy and look at for, a week, 10 days before they go execute?
Week 10 days. I probably recommend a little longer, but yes, week 10 days. Yeah, I think, it's a very interesting question. I think there is a lot of power in the cloud. So I think if you're doing, and especially the neo clouds these days, which are very focused on AI. So my husband has a startup, for example, and I always recommend, he comes to me and says, I buy your data storage. I'm like, well, you don't have quite enough data and you probably don't know where you're going to be next year because you're a startup. So why don't you build in the cloud, but have a plan to get out? There's a great article from AZ16, I think it is, that basically says, hey, when you're growing and you're figuring out your direction and you're trying to figure out what value you can get from AI, for example, go test it out in the cloud because that's built for testing. And then but have a plan to get out, know what you're taking in and know how to get it out. And when you get to the scale where it's either the right thing from an economics point of view or the right thing from a data performance point of view, then you've already looked forward and you've already got a strategy to do that without costing a lot to transition from the cloud or do a big, as you say, consultancy digital transformation. So I think, yeah, I would look at step 1, but look forward to step 3 and 4 and make sure that you're architecting to be able to go there easily.
Yeah, that's good advice. I think look at the ins and outs is always good advice. You wanna, look at what you're trying to do and what you're expecting out of it, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
Samantha, thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate the conversation. And congratulations again on the award and all your success at VDURA.
Thank you very much, and I better give a plug for the woman since this is woman. I think, I had the opportunity to speak at an industry event last week, and, I gave everyone, not just the men, but everyone an action in the room to find a woman in industry that needs a little encouragement or confirmation of their success or a little mentoring. Take an hour a month or to do the right thing, because I think women in our industry are getting rarer and rarer, unfortunately, and but bring so much to the industry. So that's my shout out for
I
the
couldn't
women.
agree more. So thank you for that. I really couldn't agree more. Horizon's great proof of that. I told somebody this morning, I said, Horizon will be our biggest program in 2 years. And it's because there's just this glut of recognition and it's just, that's what it is. So we're trying to solve it too.
Thank you for that.
Yep. So
It's so
congratulations
nice.
again. We really appreciate all that you've done and we look forward to seeing all your next successes.
Thank you, Russ. Thanks for the conversation.